Twitch.tv, it's Vtuber Talk. This week our guest is Nyaru. It's all about to begin on Vtuber Talk. Hello and welcome to Vtuber Talk. I'm your host Jay and thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those of you who haven't been here before, Vtuber Talk is designed after classic late night talk shows. Everything here is live, casual, and the goal is to simply have fun conversations that will entertain people who are already familiar with the guest while still being accessible for new fans. That's my long way of saying I hope that anyone can tune in and have a good time. Tonight's my 10th episode. It feels kind of weird. As someone who only does one broadcast a week, I've very deliberately designed the show to not overwhelm myself, and I have to say I've certainly been enjoying it so far. Hopefully you all have as well. It's something I didn't even realize until probably week 4 or 5, that at my current pace I will never actually be eligible to get affiliate, and that's okay. I'm doing this because I enjoy it, because I like meeting new people, and because I like helping other people learn about awesome VTubers. So even if I never have my own emotes or subscribers, that's okay. If you're able and willing to give me a follow here on Twitter and Twitch, and, just help spread the good word about my guests and help, bring people into this great community, that's really enough for me. So thank you all for being here. I hope you will continue to support my show and all my guests as well. I do make a point of adding everyone's Twitter link down in the channel description, so please check out all of my past guests as well. I know at least one of them is in the chat this evening. Hello, Webb. Good to see you again. That's about all I've got. I'm ready for another great show. I hope you are too. So please welcome my guest for this evening. She is a member of SHIRAYURI production. She is the failed idol VTuber. She is Nyaru. Nyaru, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hopefully all of the audio levels are good. That's the one thing that even after 10 episodes, I am still trying to get a handle on and making sure that the balance is good. I think it's because I hop around with so many different BGMs that making sure that the balance for my guest volume along with my own is a bit finicky. So I'm sure the chat will let us know pretty soon if someone can't be heard, but I think we're doing all right so far. So Nyaru, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I do have a little introduction that I like doing.
Please.
If you don't mind if I do it? Alrighty. Okay, guys, you know what to do. Seno, Tiger, Fiber, Cyber, Diver, Fiber, Biber. Nyan, Nyaru! Hello everyone, my name is Nyaru, I'm the failed idol turned VTuber, and it's nice to meet you. And yeah, that's the only thing that qualifies me as an idol.
Oh, I think far more qualifies you as an idol for that, but that is a great place to start. So that is Tiger, Fire, Cyber, Fiber, Diver, Viver. Where did that come from? Is that something of your own creation? Is that a reference to something?
So it is a reference. I'm really big. I think I said this before, and everyone knows me as like the idol person to go to, the idol fan, and also an idol herself. So I'm a really big fan of like idols. I've been a fan since I was like very, very young age, and there's this really great culture around, like fan culture around idols, mostly specifically in Japanese idols, because this doesn't really apply to like K-pop idols essentially, but they have this really fun cheering culture called watage or otage, and they do different like phrases. They're more referred to as mixes more than anything. So they have like different phrases, different like choreography, dance moves that you do to like different songs. So like, because the whole essence of watage is supposed to be you're bringing energy to your favorite idol on stage. Like you're exchanging energy with them. You give the idol the energy, and she gives the energy back to you. And a part of that is whenever they are singing songs, they do these different mixes. So the mix that I just did, it's called a basic mix. So it goes like Tiger, Fiber, Cyber, Diver, Fiber, Biber, and then usually they say ja ja, and then they go into like another mix. There's a whole bunch of different. It's so hard to explain Vodage, but instead of saying the ja ja at the end, I say nya nya, and then I say my name after that. That's such a very kind of fun. I like to take a little bit. I always love to take a little bit of Vodage culture into what I do. Just because that's always been part of my life, and I'm not gonna step away from it anytime soon. So might as well just
Embrace
give
it.
a cheeky, yeah, and embrace it and give a cheeky little reference to all the Vodage fans that are out there.
Awesome, because I'll admit, that is something I legitimately did not know. I've tuned into a good number of your streams, even before I asked you to be on the show, and it's something that was like, I could tell it was something from idol culture, but I wasn't sure if that particular set of words was something of your own creation or if it was something that you had pulled from somewhere else. So it's really cool that you were able to take that reference and really weave it into your own character and your own style.
It's a big part of my life. So if I don't have like any voting, especially when I do karaoke, I love doing like I think I didn't do it that much during the English karaoke because you can't really do it much in English songs, but during like hardcore songs, it's whenever I do like Japanese songs at least, I always at least go like, ja ikuzo. Tiger, Fiber, Cyber, Diver, Fiber, Viber, Ja, Ja, Toda, He, Jesus, Sin, Ama, Jesus, Kanse, Chape, Ape, Kara, Kina, Nada, Mogi, Hoku, Jaza.
Ugh, I feel so bad that I don't have an actual, like, concert set up here. I really should add that. Like, that maybe that's something for future VTuber talk of just, I have what I call the gallery scene for this, for when I have like an artist on, so I can have them on one side of the screen and then something that they've created on the other side. But maybe I should just actually create, a stage of some sort.
That'd be
maybe things
cool
for the future.
See.
But anyways, we sort of jumped right in, but I'm sure a number of people in the chat and who are watching later on YouTube are already familiar with you. But for those who aren't, please let us know a bit about you. It can be your lore, the type of content you create, anything that you think is important to know when meeting Nyaru.
Alrighty, so just like I implied earlier, I am the failed idol turned VTuber. Essentially, before I became a VTuber, I went around the United States, sometimes to Japan, sometimes even to other countries, and I would do idol activities. And if you don't know what an idol is, basically it is a Japanese pop star who does singing, dancing, modeling, literally anything under the sun. They are just an entertainer, but more inspired by like different Japanese culture aspects. So yeah, I did that a lot before I became a VTuber. Most notably, I did a lot of convention work for idols back in the day before all this. Most notably, I did idol events like idol festivals, or I assisted other idol festivals around the country. And of course, I did my own activities as well. But sadly, that didn't work out too well in my plans. I had to take a step back in doing that, and mostly because the community surrounding idol culture, at least here in the West, wasn't really right for me anymore. I didn't feel very welcomed at one point. I just kind of dropped it all and just kind of gave up. So I eventually found VTubing in a couple of years.
I think it's safe to say you found a pretty good community here, though.
Oh no, definitely. Hell yeah, definitely way better community here than I would have ever imagined. I don't like dragging people like this, but it's not that I'm dragging people anyway. It's just like there's a definitely really, really huge difference between the idol culture scene here in the West and the VTuber scene here in the West too. Definitely really, really, really big gaps between them. Despite, VTubing being based on idols, like real life idols, you think it would be kind of similar, but no, it's a whole different like community vibe, and I just really appreciate it more than anything.
Yeah, I know that, so as I mentioned earlier, you're part of SHIRAYURI production, which has just a whole lineup of VTubers. You're not the only idol among them, but you're all able to have your own identity, your own style, and I think it's very safe to say that you've found just your own niche here. And like, I personally, I don't like that you call yourself a failed idol, but Hey,
A
it's your
lot. Okay.
brand, but like I hope you know that. Hunty, hi there. Thank you for the raid.
My little notifications are popping up. I love them.
Yes, yeah. That's definitely one thing I like to try and do, make the show feel a bit like home. Add the notifications, add the sound, and your notification
So
gifts were
cute.
so good that when I saw them, I was like, oh yeah, Nyaru, can you please send those to me? Those are great.
They're actually getting upgraded. Wink, wink.
Ooh, breaking news here on Vtuber Talk.
Wink, wink. I need to get one more frame done, and then I'm essentially done. I just gotta turn them into a GIF, and then slot them onto Streamlabs, and they're good to go, essentially.
Oh wait, so
But
did you
yeah,
draw
thank
those
you so much.
yourself?
Oh yes, I did draw those. Fun fact: I drew those on my phone.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, I was like before my debut, I was like, man, everyone has these nice like little notification picture animations. I want one of my own, but I was like kind of cheap back then, so I was like, I'm gonna make my own, and like I don't know, something about them was like
They're adorable. They have personality.
Yeah, exactly. They have personality. I just love like the messy crayon style. That was gave me inspo for like those notifications. Were like the messy crayon style. It looks like a 5-year-old like colored in on the lines and drew on like on top of like the line art.
That's still better than I can draw, even with how old I am now. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I just really love that aesthetic though. So I just kind of like took that inspo and I was like, I'm gonna make some stream gifts the night before my debut. And
oh gosh, it was night before debut.
I think it was my night before.
Oh my goodness.
I don't remember. That was like, okay, that was in September last year. I don't remember much about my debut. I'm gonna be real with you.
Trust me, I'm all too familiar with that time, and really just the past year. Everything blurs together. Who knows when anything happened? Oh my goodness. Reina, hello there. Thank you so much for the raid.
Oh.
Welcome, raiders.
Thank you. Welcome.
You all came at a
everyone.
great time. We just started talking with Nyaru. She was telling us about her lore and how she made her stream notifications, which you just saw the night before her debut. And she drew them herself, which is just awesome. And that apparently there might be updates coming in the future. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, wonk, wonk.
So you've been very busy lately. You're currently in the middle of your partner push. You've had a full week of streams. I'm so glad you were able to come on and not be completely exhausted. You've actually done some really interesting streams this week. You started off this week on Monday. You did a Disney virtual tour stream where you took people through Florida, Orlando's Walt Disney World. And you were basically a tour guide, and it was via Google Maps. I've never seen anything like it before, but it was so much fun. Where did you think of that?
Honestly, I think I've seen. Oh, you know who I seen it do it, and who gave me the inspo for it? Mint Phantom. She announced her graduation today, which I'm very sad about. I did not have a good cry about that. I promise you, I did not have a good cry about it. But I saw her. She did a Akiba tour, like a tour of Akihabara in Tokyo, and I watched the VOD of it because I missed the stream, and I was like, man, this is so fun. I want to do something like this. And then I actually did a similar Google Maps tour stream before this Disney one. I did one of, I think it was just like the general Tokyo area. I just took people like on a tour of like my typical places to go to when I'm in Tokyo, because I frequent Tokyo. I used to, of course, before Rona, but I've been to Tokyo, I want to say at least like 4, 5, 6 times already, for most of the time for concerts though. And like I really miss traveling. I miss going to places. I especially miss, I know, I miss going to I miss cons too, like, man. And I feel like the only way I could really like be there while also being a sick patient myself, because I can't. It's really hard for me to go outside because I am immunocompromised due to my heart condition. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm not gonna go to Tokyo. I'm not gonna go to Disney. I'm gonna bring Tokyo and Disney to me. So that was another inspiration, but I just wanted to bring everything to me because I can't go out.
Yeah.
And even eventually, it's still gonna be a little bit risky for me to go out, even if everyone gets like, you know, the vaccine and everything. So this is my way of going out into the world without actually going out into the world, and also showing people all the amazing places I love going to. I don't know, my favorite place to go to is Tokyo, so I really want to show everyone like the really really great places you can go to, and I really plan on doing more in the future, more than just like Disney and Japan. Like I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to Peru, I've been to other places here in the States. Like I would totally love to give a tour of like so many places that I've been to and like give everyone like a full experience and even some recommendations and travel tips, because I'm all about that. I would say I'm an expert traveler at this point.
Like I feel like that could just be sort of a regular thing of, I don't know, maybe once every 2 weeks, sort of, where in the world is Nyaru?
Oh yes, that's exact. See, that's what I'm planning to. I really want to make it a bi-weekly thing. A lot of my streams right now are very bi-weekly. Like, I was actually doing I have my schedule for the week that's coming up. Like last week I did like a drawing, and then I did a community night, and then I did like karaoke, and then I think I did a YouTube stream last week too, and then of course I switched it up this weekend. Basically, I'm taking last week's schedule and just pasting
Copy pasting. Hey, if you find a formula that works, use it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been working out pretty good too. Next week's gonna be mostly a community week though. Like a lot of like, send me your request to do this. Oh, come play this game with me. And then I'm gonna have a movie night on Discord. I'm gonna watch Joker because that's a really freaking good movie. Okay.
And don't worry, cursing's fine on the show.
Okay. I'm gonna say I am a potty mouth. Please understand.
It's fine. Don't worry at all about it. By the way, thank you, Renpona, Melchior Channel, let me see here, VT Naruru, a fan of you, Uwu, and Nuisi. Oh, thank you so much for the donation. Half of that will be going to Nyaru.
Oh.
Yes, I don't know if I mentioned it. Any donations are split between me and the guest. Always. People are here to see you, not me. The least I can do is offer half. So, thank you so much, Nasui. That is very, very kind of you.
Thank you. I'm very shocked right now.
I am too. I actually think, Nasui, you have the designation of that is the first donation on Vtuber Talk. So, little badge of honor for you. Thank you so much. So, anyways, the Disney tour, you were really just channeling really, really good tour guide vibes. That, and honestly, I feel like the outfit that you're wearing right now is something that you could potentially just see a Disney tour guide wearing, just for not actually wearing Disney branded stuff. This is still sort of a tour guide look. Well, it's just a versatile look in general. But yeah, you were. I've seen many, many tours in my day, and you were just rocking, and it seemed like you were having a great time.
I love Disney, man. I think I said this on the stream, during the Disney stream, is that I've been to Disney almost every year up until I think I want to say 11, 12, 13-ish, and then I went twice in one summer when I was like 14, 15-ish with my grandparents and then my parents. So, and then of course I've been to Tokyo Disney twice, Tokyo Disney and then Tokyo Disney Sea twice. So I'm pretty good when it comes to Disney things. Oh, and also Disney Hong Kong too, before all that stuff happened there. Actually it was literally a week before all that. Now that I think about it, oh my god.
Yeah, well, actually, funny enough. So I've had the opportunity to go to Disney in Orlando 4 times in my life, and the last time I went was the first week of March last year. So
oh my god,
my family and I got in right under the wire. Just we got back and we were like, wow, it's a good thing we scheduled when we did, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
We got to go to we went to Magic Kingdom. We did one day at Universal so we could go to Harry Potter World. And we also went to Hollywood Studios, and we were able to get on Rise of the Resistance, and that was that is not a ride. That is an experience. Absolutely changes the game of what theme park attractions are and can be. And
man, that makes me really excited because my parents want to go so bad to Disney. Like they'll every now and then they'll text me and be like, you still want to go to Disney with us when things open up, right? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll go. Because they're really, really big Star Wars fans. They love Star Wars. They were basically like there from beginning up until now. That's their Star Wars.
Oh, they're gonna have a great time. They're going to have a great time.
I'm so excited for them to see it now, because like that's all they've ever talked about for the past couple of years is going to see the Star Wars area. Ever since it started getting built, ever since there was even rumors about it being built, they were like, "Oh my god, we're so excited! We're ready to plan a trip and everything." And I'm like, "Oh!" I don't know. I like seeing my parents excited about that kind of stuff.
Who doesn't? So, do you have a favorite attraction at Disney?
The Buzz Lightyear ride.
I know the one. Yeah, the Star Command one where you're shooting the targets. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And for, I guess, like more of an experience, because that's more like a interactive.
It's more a game than a ride.
Yeah, it's more game than a ride. But for like, I guess like an experience sort of ride, I love the Peter Pan ride. It's my favorite.
Oh, classic! Just one of those floating movie experiences. That's really just the classic Disney attraction there.
That's always been my favorite ever since I was a kid. I would beg even if the line was like an hour long, I would beg like anyone who took me. I was like, please, we have to go on the Peter Pan ride. You do not understand the importance of me going on this ride, because otherwise I will actually pout the rest of the trip if I don't go on.
That's dedication. So is Peter Pan, I have to assume then, one of your favorite Disney movies?
Oh yeah, definitely one of them. Definitely one of those. Definitely, I had the VHS tape for it, and I played the crap out of it with a whole bunch of other Disney movies too. But my top favorite, actually, I think I would say it's The Little Mermaid. I always loved that movie. I even watched like all the sequels to that one too. I don't know. I have a really good connection with like a lot of like the how do they say, the golden era of?
Yeah, I think it's like Disney? Golden era, golden age, something like that.
Yeah, the golden age of like Disney movies. I've always have like a hardcore connection, and of course, anything from Pixar is like amazing too.
Yeah. I think it's so hard to pick a favorite, but Lilo and Stitch is just really up there for me.
Yes, I love Lilo and Stitch. I'm so sad. Did you know that it crashed at the box office? Like, it did not do good.
Oh, could have fooled me. It went on to have 3 TV movies and a long-running series. Even if it didn't do well at the box office, it's certainly become a cult classic and success in other venues for them.
Yeah, it's just so amazing, because I only found out that fact recently while I was watching like some Disney videos on YouTube, was that Lilo and Stitch was like horrible. Like it did horrible in the box office, but I'm sitting there watching it on DVD on loop, and I'm enjoying myself watching Lilo and Stitch. And even when I've been to Hawaii before, and they have the Disney Aulani resorts. I went there once just to go look at them, because I was very, very curious, and I saw a lot of Lilo and Stitch stuff, and it just
I'll bet.
it filled up my heart so much to see so much representation for that series.
Ohana means family.
That's a good Stitch. What the heck?
So, and then later in the week, you went from Disney, so, happiest place on earth, just very say-so, to Command and Conquer.
Yes, Command and Conquer. Listen, I have moods, okay? Sometimes I'm in a good kawaii uko say-so mood, and then next thing I know, I just wanna be part of the
world.
Soviet Union. Yeah, exactly.
Conquer the world, but hey, I suppose it's not too surprising, because, just you're in SHIRAYURI production, obviously good friends with all of them there, but it is not an exaggeration to say that you have a particularly close friendship with a certain dictator VTuber.
Yoda! Oh, she's resting right now. Oh, she had a good concert today.
Yeah,
I
got to catch the end of that.
Oh, it was so amazing, and her song too. Yeah, and surprisingly, a lot of people think we've been friends for like either a very, very, very long time, or I've even had people come up to us and be like, y'all are dating, right? I'm like, no, we're just really good friends.
Like, I want a buddy comedy of the two of you. Just, nothing romantic. I just want a buddy comedy, please.
I mean, that's essentially our Saturday. We usually stream together on Saturdays. But we were taking a break recently because of my partner push, and then she's also needs to focus on school too. So hopefully next week we could do a stream together. But we are having our own little date night. Tomorrow night we're gonna watch the Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, no, she's so great. She's so great. I love her so much. I really hope she's resting right now, especially her throat. I heard her asthma acting up during the stream, and I got very worried.
I only got to tune in to see the end, but like the second to last song she dedicated to you.
Yeah, Last Dinosaurs. Fuck, I forgot the name of the song. I'm blanking out right now. It was the Last Dinosaur song. It's one that we have. Okay, so she made a playlist for me about like a month ago of like all of her bedroom pop, all the kind of song aesthetics that are similar to like Last Dinosaur. She gave me a playlist to like listen to and be like, oh, you can check out these artists. And honestly, whenever I'm doing housework or whenever I'm just vibing here like on my computer, I have that playlist open. I just play it like all the freaking time.
That's fantastic. Like, and hey, really a good collab could be Command and Conquer, because honestly, it's very on brand for her.
I did tell her. Here's the thing though. I've been teasing her about giving her, because like Command and Conquer, it's really difficult to set up. I'm gonna be real with you. It took me a couple hours to set it up, like just like the version that I have. And then of course you got the BattleNet that you can set up too. But she likes to bully me a lot. And sometimes she comes up to me randomly and she's like, can you give me the Command and Conquer files? I'm like, well, can you be a little bit more nice to me? And she's like, okay, forget it. I'll just get it myself.
True friendship right there. True friendship.
Oh yeah, that's some true. That's a bro right there. That's a real bro right there.
Absolutely. But so Command and Conquer, has that been a game that you've played just for a long time? Is it something that you played during your childhood, or was it one that you discovered more recently?
So it's a little bit of a mix of both, because I know my dad used to play it a lot. I would just watch him, and then like other members of my family would play it too. And then I kind of just like forgot about it for the longest time, and then a close friend of mine started playing it recently, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know people were still into this like at all, because I think I played an RTS game before, if you count this one as RTS. It's called Idol Manager. It's an indie game on I think it's called GitHub. I forgot, but essentially like manage your idols and you build like an office. You get them jobs. Like it's basically an idol RTS game. And like I played it on stream before, and like I'm gonna tell you, not a lot of people were interested in it. So I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna play an RTS game. Never gonna play that game ever again, because it was like not a lot of people were interested in it, even though I had fun. So I just played it off stream and had my time with it. And then all of a sudden, people just started playing RTS games again. I'm like, whoa, what the heck? What are y'all doing?
Yeah, you had a pretty good crowd the other day.
Yeah, like where were y'all when I was playing Idol Manager? But of course, Command and Conquer and Idol Manager are like completely
very, very different.
Yeah, they're very different. So I totally, and of course, like Command and Conquer is very retro. Everyone loves a good retro game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So yeah, I started playing it more recently, and I just refound my love for it. I'm really trying to relearn how to play it, if anything, because I really didn't get my hands on it as much as a kid. I just kind of watched like my dad play it, watched like my other family members play it. So it's been a really relearning experience for me, but I really gotta keep up with it. That's my thing.
So you seem to be having a very good time, and it was cool just watching. So I'm not very familiar with Command and Conquer. I obviously know of the game. I know the basic premise and everything, but it is not one that I have played. So it was very over my head, but you seem to be handling it. But it just like any RTS, it's super chaotic, but I think that makes it all the more fun to watch.
Also, I'm sorry for those noises in the back. That was my doggy.
Don't
Yoshi.
worry. I just had to actually up my noise sensitivity, because I think my upstairs neighbor is blasting music. Of course, at this exact hour. Thanks, neighbor. Thanks.
Hold on, I gotta look at my. Okay, no, he is chewing something. No. Here, y'all can meet Yoshi for a minute. Yoshi. Come here. You don't do that. Don't do that to Mama. No. Say hi. Say hi to everyone. staring. I think he just wants to play with me right now, but...
Because Yoshi is a puppy. You only got him recently, right?
Yes, I got him like a month ago, actually. Right, hold on. Got him in February. Yeah, a month ago, like, in 2 weeks. Yeah.
And what type of dog is he again?
He is a Shiba Inu, and he is grabbing my stuff. No, he just wants to play so bad right now.
For those of you who don't normally watch Nyaru's streams, Yoshi is absolutely a feature and a mainstay, special guest every day of the week.
Every freaking day of the week. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think he's good now. Hopefully he won't make too much noises. He wants to play. Usually he's asleep by now. I don't know what's up with him. I think it's
like,
just because the lights
Mommy's
are
on a
in my
talk
room.
show. I got to be up for this.
Oh yeah, definitely. He has to be. He's the main guest if anything.
Yeah,
this is no longer my interview.
absolutely. This is now puppy talk. Yeah, V dog talk or whatever. I'll have to figure out all the rebranding and stuff.
It's funny because when I got him last month, I did a debut stream for him, and I just but it was like around the time when my computer started acting up, so it was like a very scruff stream. But I was very happy that.
Well, hey, you can't expect him to navigate everything. He doesn't have opposable thumbs. It's gonna be scuffed.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's gonna make some noises in the back.
It's just fine. It's just fine.
He's a little baby. He doesn't know that much. It's okay. But yes, I have a doggy. His name is Yoshi. He's a Shiba Inu. We're gonna get his last round of shots in 3 weeks, so he can go outside on his first hike, and I'm freaking excited.
Oh boy, oh boy. I feel like eventually there's gonna have to be a Yoshi emote.
Oh, there is. I'm actually thinking about adding one soon. So, like just him, like a little like bark. Like, I think it's like one where he just goes like bark, bark.
Bark, yeah, like just for whenever you hear him.
I'm also thinking about he loves to eat paper for some reason. Ooh. So I'm thinking about getting an emote with him just like chewing paper. Like right now he's chewing paper.
Oh dear. Like, hey, the dog ate my homework meme had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, it did. But it's okay. He loves chewing cardboard. Cardboard's actually really good for when they're teething. So I just let him chew on that all day. It has fiber in it, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's fiber of a sort.
But yeah, no, he's gonna be making noises probably. He's chewing on this box right now, so hopefully he'll calm down a little bit.
Just
once he realizes I'm doing work.
So apart from RTS games, you also are a big fan of rhythm games.
Oh yes, I love rhythm games.
So what are a couple of your favorites?
So a couple of my favorites include Groove Coaster, which is an arcade game that you can play at Round 1 locations or in Japan. Also love Project Diva, any of the Love Live, any Idol rhythm games that you play on either mobile or arcade in Japan. Rhythm Heaven a little bit. I really want to get back into Rhythm Heaven. I haven't played that in a hot minute. I love playing the Toho version of Rhythm Heaven. I think it's called Rhythm Fest for them though. And yeah, those are really the ones that just come to my mind whenever I think rhythm games is Groove Coaster, Project Diva, any Idol rhythm arcade mobile games, or Rhythm Heaven.
And I know Toho in particular has a special place in your heart.
Oh, yes it does. Yes it does. I'm a big Toho fan.
Like actually, so hopping around a bit to all the different types of streams that you do, just last night you had a YouTube nostalgia stream, which was honestly just like one of the most fun streams I've seen in a long time. It was great.
Oh, thank you.
And there were several Toho animations in there. I don't know why, but Cyrano's Perfect Math Class has always stuck with me. I don't know why.
I don't know. I love that one. Okay, so I like to consider myself, especially because of my outfit, and like my color scheme and everything. I consider myself like, or I consider Cyrano like my spirit Toho, because I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I'm a little bit of a baka. So I really. What's the right term that the kids use nowadays? Was it kinny? Kenny, I think that's the right word. I don't know. I'm
not sure.
I'm not sure either. I hear that term thrown around whenever someone like relates a character to or relates like a character to themselves. I think that's the right word. If any of the Zoomers in the chat wanna
no, I don't think
that,
it's dummy thick axis pad. I think that is something.
Oh no, I think I'm dummy thick. You know, honestly, I do associate myself as being dummy thick too, so it's okay. I totally accept that.
All right, well, just add that too. All right, so dummy thick failed idol VTuber. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. I got the thick thighs and the thick chest and not so thick of a head. I'm sorry. That's where the thickness ends.
So for rhythm games, are you the type that has to get the full combo, or do you generally just try and get the pass? Where do you fall in your, I suppose, rhythm gaming style?
It depends. So when I was younger, I used to be all about getting the full combos because of course I had a lot of time to spend on that, and I would just like sit there. I used to have Project Diva F Second on the PSP, mind you.
Oh boy, PSP! There's a throwback.
I imported a Project Diva F Second, not PSP, but like the game to my house in the middle of freaking nowhere, Texas. And I would bring it to school with me, and I would just sit there whenever I had free time or whenever the teacher weren't looking. I would try to full combo things, and when I get home, I would try to full combo things. I was all about full comboing like all my favorite songs of Project Diva. And then I started getting into the idol rhythm games, like the mobile games and stuff like that. It started to get like a little bit of like, yeah, I want to full combo everything because I want to up my score. But at the same time, I just really enjoy these songs. I just want to play them.
Yeah.
And then eventually I went to Japan and I started playing more of the rhythm arcade games. So like the physical arcades, like I know Muga mentioned Putipata, which I have played many of time. I spent way too much money. Let's just say I spent my New Year's playing Putipata. You know what? Here's my story about Putipata.
Oh boy.
So this is during New Year's, 2017. It was my first trip to Japan, and I was head over heels for Putipata. It was New Year's night. I was in the Don Quixote building Akihabara. Top floor, right before the AKB theater, was a whole cart of like Putipata games. I was just sitting there, and then I realized 30 minutes before the thing, or like New Year's happened, I was like, oh, New Year's is in 30 minutes. I should probably go to like a pub or something, or like a bar, and just sit there, have a drink, and then. So I did that. It took me like 10 minutes to like get down to like the nearest bar. It was like a pub in Akihabara, and I sat there, it's just like, yeah, Happy New Year's. Not even like 5 minutes later, I just went back to the arcade and played my And it's the same thing too with like Love Live as well. And like I said, as of course I started going to Japan more, I was more just wanting the experience of playing the arcade, playing the songs in there, getting like all the cool like little neat cards, especially Putipata, because you could get like dress up cards to help like your score go up. And it was more just about like collecting the little things that pop out.
Yeah, Japanese arcades were just so much smarter than American arcades in how they really get you, because it's not just, okay, you get your name on the leaderboard, but that you actually, get stuff in cards and collectibles, and you can save your progress, and just they've always had a much better, to use an industry term, retention model than American arcades.
Definitely. Like I even right now, like in my bookshelf, in my living room, I have a little booklet that's full of like a whole bunch of Putipata outfit cards that I'm still saving, because you can still use them on the newer cards, like the old cards on the new cards. So I'm waiting for the day where I can return and I can just play my little idol, because it's actually a kid's game. I'm gonna be real with you. That Putipata is a kid's arcade game. So, you know, imagine me just sitting there while there's a little kid next to me. And I'm just
Waiting for
like,
their
"Oh,
turn.
yeah, they're waiting for their turn, and I'm just there like, make it donkey donkey da and I'm like vibing out, and like all these kids are staring at me. But it's funny though. There's a lot of adult players in it too. So, and I made like some one-off friends like at the arcade playing Putipata and like Group Coaster 2. It's so fun.
Yeah, there's just there's a very unique brand of camaraderie for people that you meet at, like, you know, an arcade or a convention, if it's not someone that you expect to see afterwards, or just you have that known commonality and nothing else matters, and you're just buddies for the hour or so that you know each other. You have a great time. You both know you're never going to see each other again, but for that hour, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember, I think it was my first night in Japan actually. I went so after going to see the AKB theater, because like I'm a big AKB fan, went to see the cafe and then the theater in Akiba, and then next thing I know, I wanted to go straight into the arcade to play Putipata, because I was like, that was the thing I really wanted to do.
So were these trips ones that you took by yourself, or did you take them with family, friends?
Kind of a mix of both. So I would go by myself, like the journey over there, I would go by myself. But then I would meet up with like different friends that either lived there or they were also taking a trip around the same time, and I would just meet up and we would like do our thing together, and then eventually like we separate off for like a couple hours to do our own things, and then we come back, eat dinner together, and then like we'll go off to our hotels.
That's cool. I like that type of system, because it means that everyone can do what they want. You don't need to feel committed and just like, all right, I need to spend whatever portion of my vacation doing something that I'm not super passionate about because I want to be with this other person. That means everyone can just make the most of their time, have a great time. You know, all right, if we want to do different things, that's cool. Meet you back here for dinner in 4 hours.
Yep. It's a good system, especially when you want to like, because I used to share hotel rooms with like all my friends too, but eventually I got to. I'm not gonna say they were bad roommates or anything, but it's just like, man, I just want my own space at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, like, I have a lot of loyalty built up with Hilton. Because of my family, we have like a little shared account or whatever. So we would just like use points and every now and then to like get like good stays. Like I stayed at the Conrad, the Tokyo Con, which is like the most fanciest freaking hotel you can get in Tokyo, and I stayed there one night for free because I had enough points for it, and it was probably the most luxurious stay I've ever had. I'm never gonna have that ever again, especially after the pandemic, because I don't know what the freak happened to all my points.
Oh no. Well, look it up. Like, some places have been saying that points are like rolling over because, you know, for all the money that these places lost in not getting business during the pandemic, that they want to make sure that once things start to return to normal, that you go back to them and don't find some new, you know, hotel or franchise or whatever, that they want to make sure that they retain any customers they have for when things ramp back up. So I wouldn't assume. I would definitely go and check, because they might have been extended.
Check. Yeah, especially with my airline points too, because I know. So I actually had planned to like get a ticket like this year to go to Tokyo, but of course that's definitely not going to happen. There's like a system that you can do where you with a certain airline at least. Oh no, my model stopped. Give it a second to boot up again. Oh, there she goes. Okay, so if you buy like certain like this amount of points from like, I think it was Virgin Atlantic.
I'm gonna need to pick your brain at some point, because I've been meaning to plan a trip to Japan for so long, and just now after all this of being inside and just, you know, I used to go to so many conventions a year, and I am starved for some travel. So I'm really thinking that probably in 2022 is going to be when I finally get a trip to Japan. I have just a small number of friends who I know have already been, and I'm just going to be picking their brains for, all right, like, where are good places to stay, good restaurants. So expect a couple of messages from me sometime being like, where can I get some good ramen here? Because I know, well, you can get good ramen just about anywhere. Where's like the best?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Good ramen place, because like surprisingly, I don't eat a lot of ramen when I go over there. Like maybe once or twice, but they're like one-off like little places I go to. I know there's this one ramen shop that's in Akiba. I think it's like near the Don Quixote building. I usually use the Don Quixote building as like my basis of like everything, because that's an AKB theater.
Whenever you're traveling, you have to have your sort of waypoint, that just central location that you know, all right, if I know how to get to this place, then I won't get lost, and if nothing else, I can return to this place.
Yes, exactly. That's really how I operate in Tokyo. So like every like little district in Tokyo, like Harajuku, Ikebukuro, Akihabara, like I have my one place where I kind of just like map everything out. So like for example, Akiba would be the main Don Quixote building where the AKB theater is at. In Shibuya, I would probably place myself off of Shibuya 109, because that's like the tallest building like in that little area. For Harajuku, it would probably be La Forêt, which is like in the crossroads area of not it's like next to Takuya, but like a little bit away. But it would probably be La Forêt, and then Ikebukuro, it would probably be the Sanrio store. The Sanrio. The funny thing is, the Sanrio store is like in like a little it's like on the side. Like it's kind of like it's like hard, like not hard to miss, but it's also like very easy to miss too. So yeah, I just have like a lot of waypoints that I go to whenever I'm figuring stuff out. But yeah, no, if you ever need advice about Japan, I love playing tour guides. See, even Yoshi knows. Yoshi's hyping me up right now.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Goodness, now I'm just thinking about that. It's gonna be a good time. So, but you mentioned the AKB theater, and I know that you are a big fan of AKB. I will admit, I am really unfamiliar with AKB. All I really know is that they were the analogy that Yago infamously used when describing HoloLive during a press conference.
That brings me a lot of pain, but I know where he was coming from, okay?
I said infamously.
It was infamous. It definitely is infamous.
So, for newbies like me and any others who might be watching it, AKB is obviously an idol group, but what makes them special? What makes them unique? What made them really appeal to you?
So I got into AKB like very, very early on in the group. Basically when they were probably still like, I would still consider them like indie idols, cause like they didn't start off like signed to an agency. They basically started off with nothing. I'm gonna be real with you. The only thing they got was just the theater that they had in the 8th floor of Don Quixote. That was probably the most they had. And then I don't know, it's just like to see, because like the whole basis around idols is just you watch them grow from nothing, and it's become something that either they wanted to be, or you see them just grow into like so much success. And it's just, you know, just the growth path of an idol is what really makes like idol culture like one of the best things in the world for me. And the fact I got to see them grow from like this tiny group of like girls who really did not have a lot of talent, really had like in no places at all. They I don't know what their process was for picking like the first generation members, but whatever process they used, it freaking worked. Because to see them grow up to basically be now this really pretty much international idol group with so many sister groups from different Asian countries now, it's amazing. I think it's just the fact that I've been there since the beginning. But I don't think you need to be a fan to, or you don't need to like, I guess, be there for the beginning to still be a fan of AKB48. There's a lot of great things about them still. Mostly in the sister groups from other Asian countries like BNK48, JKT48, MNL48.
So, stupid question from me right here. Does AKB actually stand for anything?
Yes, it does. AKB is the acronym for Akihabara. So when you go on the train,
I feel like I should have realized that.
When you go on the train and you go like towards Akihabara Station, and on the side of like where they have like the little notification thing, like saying this is the next stop.
Yeah.
It'll say AKB.
AKB line. Yeah. Sort of like you have, you know, there's airport codes or just, you know, stuff like that.
The station codes, essentially. Yeah, exactly. So that was the station code, was AKB. Now 48 I actually don't remember where that came from. But one misconception I know a lot of people have is that 48. It means there's 48 members in the group.
No, I do not think so.
There's like over 200 members.
Oh,
500,
I was saying no in the wrong
500.
direction. I was thinking, maybe 2-3 dozen or something.
No.
200. Oh my.
So the great thing about AKB is that they're kind of scattered also around Japan too. They have different groups for different areas. They have, so of course they have AKB48, which is Akihabara. You have SKE48, which is Sake Nagoya. So that's like a little bit west of Tokyo. And then if you keep going further west, you have NMB48, which stands for Namba Osaka, Japan. So they're in Osaka. And then if you keep going further west, you have HKT48, which is Hakata, Fukuoka. So they're Hakata 48, HKT48, based in Fukuoka.
Heck, I just need to memorize all these group names for when I go to Japan, because then I'll know all the station names.
Yes, exactly. There you go. And then I want to say you go, I think it's north. Yeah, north. You have Niigata 48, which stands for, NGT 48, which is Niigata, I forgot the prefecture. Wait, no, Niigata is the prefecture, right? Yeah, no, Niigata is the prefecture. And yeah, they represent Niigata prefecture. And then of course they have this, I guess like it's not really a gimmick anymore, but they used to have this one team called AKB48 Team 8. They're now an official team of AKB now, but the original gimmick for them was they were a sponsorship between the company Toyota, yes, the car company, and they would go, and each member from that team would be representing each prefecture in Japan. So you have 48 members in one team of AKB48, because like how AKB functions is they have different teams too. So they have like, so for example, you have AKB48, so you have Team A, Team K, Team B, Team 4, and then of course you have Team A.
Wait, so there's A, B, 4, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This is not consistent.
Okay, I know my explanation is kind of like a little out there, but in each AKB group, depending on which group you talk about, but mostly like the Japanese ones, they have different teams within them. So they have like Team A, Team K, Team B, Team 4, Team 8, and then like for example, if we look at SKE, they have Team S, Team K2, Team E, and they don't have a Team 4 or a Team 8. Most of the time they only go up to the letters. AKB, the main one in Akiba, only has up to the 4 and 8 teams. It's so weird. I know. It's a lot to handle.
It's a lot. It's like I can't talk and say, oh my gosh, that's excessive. There's so many, because I'm a Pokemon fan, and well, look at how many of those there are. So I have no problem with there being a lot of stuff, and like the fact that you can rattle all those off is super cool. And it's like I have my own things that I can rattle off. So I love seeing that when someone's able to just have that encyclopedic knowledge, because that shows how passionate you are. But I am still a little bothered, just like, wait, A, B, 4, just like, wait a minute. So did they get A to Z and then go to numbers? Because if you run out of letters and then go to numbers, that's one thing. But I'm trying to figure out like how they wound up with that particular progression.
So you know how they're named AKB48, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they take inspiration from each letter in the name of the group. So like A for the AKB, then K, then in the AKB, and then B in the AKB.
Oh, okay. Because it's
so
all right.
Yeah, each team is supposed to like spell out the name of the group essentially.
Okay, all right. That's fair. I can dig it, because there's still logic behind that. Okay. AKBQ would just be straight out though.
Yeah, there hasn't been they haven't made all like the letters of the alphabet just yet. That would be pretty cool to see, like Team A, K, B, or Team A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There was a Team Z I know back in the day, if I remember right. It was like Team Za something, I forgot, but it was like a gimmick group. It was like one of the mini gimmick groups that they had.
I wonder, there has to be combinations that they can't use because they're copywritten, because they can't use IBM, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I know the closest thing I can come to that is like there used to be a Chinese, well they still kind of exist, but there was a Chinese AKB48 crew. They were called SNH48. Now they kind of separated from the AKB what do you call it, brand, and now they're like their own separate unit sort of thing. But they don't have, so you know how AKB has Team 4, representing the foreign name. So 4 is considered a very unlucky number in Chinese culture. So when it came around to making a team 4 for them, they turned it, I think, into team what was the, hold on, I have to look that up because
kind of like the 13th floor in a hotel. It just you always go 9, 10, 11, 12, 14th floor because there is no 13th floor.
Yeah, exactly. It was called Team X. So yeah, there's a lot of, they do take it into a lot of like superstitions and stuff like that, depending on like where their sister group is based off. Because like I said, they have international groups for different Asian cities. Like BNK48 is supposed to be, yes, Yoshi, I know you love BNK48. I know BNK48 stands for Bangkok 48, which is of course in Thailand. JKT48 is for Jakarta, Indonesia. And then MNL48 is supposed to be for Manila in the Philippines. And then I think Team SH is now their new China unit. And then Team TP is for Taipei, Taiwan. And I think that means, SGO48 is supposed to be for Saigon 48, which is in what's that country called?
We'll skip over that.
I think it's Vietnam.
I thought that was a different reference. Never mind. But so now I'm going to ask an unfair question.
Okay.
Which is your favorite?
Currently I'm really into HKT48 just because I like. I know I've been keeping up a lot with them more recently because if you knew, AKB recently did a collab, or like a couple of years ago, they did a collaboration with like a K-pop survival group or like survival TV show to create a group, a K-pop group. And most of the members that got selected from the Japanese groups were picked from HKT48, which is Miyawaki Sakura and Yabuki Nako, which are actually two of my favorites. They took them away from me, and I'm very upset about that. But they're coming back soon, actually. Like this year, like in a couple of months, actually, we'll be returning to the respective groups because the K-pop group is going to be disbanding.
Well, that's cool that they were able to return like that.
Oh, definitely. Because I thought they were going to steal them away, which I did not like.
Yeah, they were poached.
I'm not a big fan of K-pop, so I don't want them to be in a system like that. Even though there are so many things wrong also with idol culture. Really, that's just a whole other can of worms. Though it's just I think of K-pop is just a little bit worse.
It is a lot of chaos for sure. And as for yourself, as you've mentioned, you've done a lot of idol performances and behind-the-scenes work, which in part led to some of the travel that you've done. Are you able to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. What would you like to know?
Well, I guess for starters, how did it start?
So I was on the internet, being a kid.
As you do.
Loved me. It always starts out like that, and I was looking at like just anime music videos one day, and then I stumbled upon a whole bunch of like Japanese pop idol music videos, more specifically Hello Project music videos, and I was like, wow, these are so cool, what the heck, what is all this? And I just like watch YouTube videos of like different idol groups. I didn't even know they were considered like idol groups at the time. But then I started like looking into it more and kind of like understanding what it really was. And then eventually, I became a fan of like idol groups, especially AKB and Hello Project. Hello Project is a whole different like company from AKB, mind you. They're actually considered more of like rivals between each other, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, I would just support like idols online as best I could because back then there wasn't that much access to a lot of Japanese media.
Yeah.
Depending on like where you went on the internet, most of the time I had to go to like forums or like download torrents just to watch like things that I wanted to watch.
Back in the wild west of the internet. Just the age before streaming. That's the one thing of just it's weird to think that we are not terribly old, but gosh, we watch things develop real fast.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
10 years ago, 10 years ago, Twitch did not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And just 10 years ago, you couldn't stream anime online.
Yep. We've really been, the whole internet has just been blowing up, honestly. So I don't know. It's just like, it was really hard to be an Idol fan too, if you think about it. Cause like I said, you didn't have that much access, but I really tried my best to like do what I could and see what I could to understand everything. Cause I know people like to look at a lot of things like face value and just be like, oh, that's what it is. And then, you know, misconceptions happen, which I definitely don't like.
So how did you get into the organizational side? So you have this basis that you start getting into the fandom, the community, the culture, and what was the event or incident? Because there's like a small sort of there's a couple different umbrellas of circumstances that leads one to become just a producer, for lack of a better term. So what is your origin story in that sense?
Alrighty, so I don't know. So I went to go see a concert in Houston. It was actually at an anime convention, Houston anime convention. If you can connect the dots, yikes! I'm so sorry that you know about that. Thankfully, I hope they are going underground now, but we'll talk about that later. But I went to that specific con to go see Morning Musume, because I was a really, really big fan of Morning Musume, and like this was the first time ever that Texas even got close to having anything J-pop related, besides like maybe Perfume the year after. But yeah, that was like the first instance of like, you know, having an idol group come super, super close to me where I'm able to go. So I went out there. I had my friend from high school actually. I at the time I went to a different school than because I moved away from the school that they were at, but they went to come pick me up, and I was like 2 hours away from them, mind you.
That's a good friend. That is a good friend.
I'm very thankful for them. 'Cause I think without them, I don't think I would have this realization that I could do this. So yeah, they picked me up. I skipped school, mind you, because I went on a Thursday. The con was Friday. The concert was Saturday, but there was a Q&A on Friday that I really wanted to go see them. So, and thankfully, it was senior skip day that day.
Oh, fate. Fate.
Fate was, I didn't even know about senior skip day, I'm gonna be real with you. It just happened to be on there, and because I got a text from a friend, they're like, hey, you skipping school today because it's senior skip day, and I'm like, wait, that's today? Oh shit.
Jackpot.
Okay, that worked out. That worked out. But yeah, I went there and I met like a lot of like international fans of the group, and also local fans from Texas, from the all around the United States. And then I did a performance with a friend there too, as like a backup dancer and an opening act for her. And eventually, I was like talking with like a lot of like the people who do those kind of performances, especially that specific friend. I just realized there wasn't really like that much of like a welcoming space for us, for like people who love idols and people who are idols themselves. Because like most of the time before then, we would have to fight for like panel space essentially, because cons then did not understand what the fuck
what idol culture was. Yeah,
like what the heck is that? That's some cringy ass shit. Get that shit out of my con. That was essentially the treatment that a lot of us got, and it would lead us to like, you know, not even having a space, to a point where we had to create our own space in the hallways. Like, do you remember back in the day when you would have like the big ass dance gatherings in the hallways, and then con security would come out and tell you, oh, y'all gotta move because
fire hazard.
The fire hazard. Yeah, exactly. That was the community then, where we had to go in the hallways and bring our own speakers and then plug them up, and then con security coming over to us and being like, why are you doing this? This is a fire hazard. Did you have permission to do this? Like, you know, we would get harassed essentially because, you know, we're doing something very different. And I don't know, it just really ticked me off that, you know, not a lot of people understood what we were doing. They didn't like choose to understand. Cons like were just very uninterested, even though there was like a really big market for it. It's just they didn't tap into it. No one tapped into it. So essentially, after that concert, which was very lovely, by the way, I even got to meet those girls, and like it was, I don't know, they really were the inspiration behind it, Morning Musume. And eventually I went on my Facebook and I was like, hey, after talking with everyone this weekend, I have an idea, and I blessed on my idea for like an idol festival. And essentially what an idol festival is, you just gather a whole bunch of like different idol performers, and you just put them all on one stage back to back, and they do like a big idol, just one big idol party essentially. That's the best way I can describe it. And yeah, a lot of people were interested in this idea. Like, I mean, a lot of people. I even had like people who weren't like my friend on Facebook be like, hey, I heard you were doing this. What do you have any more info about this? When are you gonna do this? When do you plan? Like, they wanted like straight up information from me. And I only told them like, hey, this is only an idea for now. But you're more than welcome to, you know, I can add you as a friend. You can keep up with all that. And that same year, I think I don't know if this is outing myself, but it was the first time we did an idol festival was for San Japan, which is a I don't know if you heard of San Japan.
San Antonio.
Yeah, the one in San Antonio. Yeah, that was our first edition of it back in, I think it was 2016. 2016, 2017. Yeah, because it was like 5 years ago. Hold on, I gotta do math. 2020, 19, 18, 17, 16. Yeah, no, 2016. That was the first rendition, and I just submitted it. I submitted this idol festival just as a regular panel. I just asked them, we need mics, we need a little stage. That's all we need. And we somehow got accepted. I don't know how, because the Pacificon did kind of sus towards idol stuff. Because like I said, this was one of the cons where we had to like fight for space, and they would only accept like maybe one or two like idol acts to have like their own panel, because to them apparently it was very low priority, didn't bring enough people for their con, which is totally understandable.
Yeah, that's sort of the awkward position that a con has to do, because you have limited space, limited time for panel rooms, and you have to tailor to the audience. That you need to tailor your programming to what the people want, and it creates a awkward position for I don't like using this business term here, but burgeoning markets, that it just just budding fandoms. I like that term better. Because, you know, if they don't want to have a space used and then only a couple people show up for it. But then on the other hand, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy of, well, if there's no panels for idols and people to learn about idols, and that means that next year not as many people are going to know about idols. So they, in order for new stuff to get into cons, just by nature, it needs to get big naturally outside of cons and in order to be recognized. But like I said, I consider there to be a small set of buckets of circumstances that lead someone to become a producer or an organizer, and one of them is you get shanghaied into it. That just you have a friend who's already running it, and they say, I need help, you're helping me, and you get dragged along for the ride, and then you realize that you have a passion and a talent for it, and then you start doing it yourself. One of the other things is you see someone doing it poorly, and you think, I can do this better, so I'm going to do it better. And then the third is you see no one doing it, and you say, screw it, I'm going to do it. And usually, and it definitely seems like this was it in your case, it was a, if you build it, they will come scenario.
Essentially, that's what it was. Because like I said, even the community before then, we were not just like, I want to say scattered, but we were more just like afraid of each other. There was really no centralized like place where we can all like, you know, gather and talk to each other. And
there wasn't a community hub.
Yeah, there wasn't really a community hub, and of course, like, we had to fight for panel space. So of course, like, not a lot of us were like, I guess, like, I don't want to say on good terms, but we were like just neutral towards each other, because, you know, it was a,
you were kind of rivals at the time.
We were rivals. We thought it was all competition because we had to fight for space. There wasn't really space for everyone. It was space for like select people, if you were lucky enough to make it.
But you were the one that realized that, well, wait a minute, if individually we don't necessarily have the traction, but if we Voltron this thing.
Yep, it's that exactly. That was essentially my plan. Is I wanted to, not only did I want to get everyone together and to, because like the whole thing for this idol festival, the whole concept behind it was, we're gonna show how great idols can be. That was my, how do you say, like, I guess like pitch, or like, like a little line to always give you like inspiration or like a small description. That was the main thing that we wanted to show people, was like how great this community of people can be, and how talented we can be, how much hidden passion, how much hidden talent there is, if you just give us a chance. And the fact that that con did give us a chance was amazing, because I essentially only had planned to this be like a yearly event at San Japan at the Pacific Con. That was it. That was all I had planned. And then out of the blue, I started getting contacted by different conventions around Texas, and they'd be like, "Hey, we heard about this. Can you come organize one for us?" The first con.
And that's when you know you have something good on your hands.
Oh yeah, the first con that reached out to me was an Austin con. I'm not gonna name them because I don't even think they're gonna be existing by the end of the year. I kind of feel bad, but yeah, that Austin con reached out, and then we did something for them in the summer, and then after that, I started getting more contacts, like from cons in Dallas and Houston, and
what was the first international one?
The first, I haven't done an international one, sadly. I've always wanted to, because the inspiration behind me doing idol festivals was Tokyo Idol Festival, which is the biggest and longest running idol festival in the world. All like idol groups from Japan, they compete a little bit to like get a slot into that into the specific festival, and then they go for like 4 or 5 days non-freaking stop of like different idol group performances from so many different idol genres and music genres. It is like it's
the Woodstock of idol festivals.
Pretty much, it is the Woodstock of idol festivals, and you see so much like talent go there, like so much indie, so much major. It's just one big hub, and I've always wanted something like that for like the States, and thankfully I was able to do that, but maybe on like on a con scale, because my plan was also to make it into like its own solo event. Just like if anything, I think my dream was to partner up with a really great organization like Tokyo Idol Festival, bring their concept here to the United States. I don't even care where the fuck I had to travel to.
Yeah, just to
like California.
You've set yourself up to be the ideal franchisee.
Exactly. That's just what I wanted to do. They were really a big inspiration behind it too, and yeah, it just kind of blew up like hardcore. It got to a point where we were doing, I want to say like 4 or 5 festivals within a 6-month span.
Wow.
And it was a lot of time. It was a lot to like, because you had to do like auditions to have everyone submit an audition, and we had to go through them, and then we had to keep in contact with them, because for every event they would have to learn a specific song so we can all go on stage and perform it together as like one big community. And then, of course, like the day of the convention, you had to schedule a practice. You had to schedule a rehearsal for everyone to get up like on stage, to feel the stage, to get the mic in their hand, make sure all the levels are good.
Sound tests.
Sound testing, especially because like I know all stages are different. So one thing I always like to do is have those rehearsals just so everyone can step on the stage, feel the stage, do maybe a dance or two that some of their choreography that they plan on doing, so they can understand the stage. That was like one thing I really
like, and especially for convention centers, when sometimes the stage you're working on is not necessarily the most stable, and you need to you need to gauge and learn what the give is on the platforms of just, all right, how much can I stomp and move around without one, like making sure that the stomps don't drown out the music, and 2, just making sure, okay, depending on how rickety this thing is, so you don't lose your balance, and just making sure, or if it's like a paneled stage where, it's made up of a bunch of different pieces, that you know where your footing is, so you don't accidentally like catch the lip of one of the panels and trip or something. And I very much identify with all of this.
Oh yeah,
because I'm not even like the performer type for that, but just when I would be when I would produce things or stuff like that, of just that's the type of stuff I think about still.
Yeah, no, like it's a lot to take. It's a lot of work to do conventions, and I know my activities in convention work and idol event work inspired a lot of people to do similar festivals and like there. And I would always encourage people like, hey, you should do it. I know Texas is pretty far from you, but you should really consider doing your own if you can. Or if you know someone who is like more fit for this, you should definitely contact them and like maybe partner up with them. I was because I really wanted this concept to like take off and like get picked up by other conventions, and eventually it did actually. It got picked up by Anime Week in Atlanta. What are the cons? Holiday Matsuri, I think.
Ooh, I know some people that do Holiday Matsuri. That one's in Orlando. Speaking of,
yeah, that one's in Orlando.
Speaking
of Disney, I've always wanted to go to that one. But those are the main two that I know that took inspiration from what I've done. Especially Anime Week in Atlanta, I've actually helped them before, like behind the scenes, doing some stuff. And I know I think if I remember right, I think I know some of the people also do Holomat too. But just the fact that I not only was I inspired to do this, but the fact that I can inspire people too was really great. Because I know like because everyone looks at Texas now. Well, at least like back then, I don't know how it is going to be after Rona, but everyone always looked at Texas and be like, that's
the gold
place.
standard. Like you started the thing that became the example, the standard that others base that. You created the model.
Essentially. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I created a model because I also took the model from...
you were the first person to bring the model to the U.S. and to a lot of people who aren't aware that the model existed outside the U.S., to them you created the model.
Essentially. And, like, that's really high, like, that's really high for me to say.
That's a cool thing.
Because...
No, it's like, be proud of that. Really... That you helped start something, and really there's nothing more... like flattering and heartwarming than seeing someone say, I think what you did is so cool that I want to do it too.
Yeah, no, it's because like I'm very hard on myself. I will admit I have a lot of confidence issues, and sadly, not all community is great, and some people in the idol community also put me down for even doing something like this, like just because I wouldn't either select them, because the nature of cons, like not everyone's gonna get picked. We can't pick everyone. Like we also have to partner with other cons and make sure that we're up to their standard as well, because not only do we have a standard, but the con also sets a standard.
Did you have sort of a moment where you realized, wait a minute, how did the little thing that I meant to be a one-off at this one con spiral into this of just because then, like you said, you had to do the coordination of the auditions, the practices, and make sure that you have the contact information for everyone of just, sending out email blasts.
I think that realization happened during A-Con 2017? 2017 or 2018, I don't remember. It was the year that my idol festival went to A-Con for the one and only time, because after that their management changed and they became really, really stinky from internally and basically ghosted us.
I know they had I think they might have had your group in no, not 19, it would have been 18, it would have been 2018.
It would have been 2018, yeah, because like 2019 was the year that... No, wait. Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, it was that year when I had my first... it wasn't my first, but it was... I had a lot of people that also came from out of state to be in this event too. Just because it was like more closer to like, all the other northern states and everything. So like I had a lot more people that were like, oh, I'm coming down here, I'm gonna audition, like, and... So it was like really hard because like I also wanted to like represent everyone from the idol community at that point. And I was like, holy shit, how did this even happen? Because like A-Con was like the big con to go to for Texas at that time. Everyone wanted to go to there. That was like the con. And the fact that I was contacted by them to be like, hey, we heard about you through word of mouth. We think your event is really, really fantastic, and we've seen video. We've talked to many people. And we want you guys to be there. And they gave us like the whole welcome wagon, like a hotel room. They gave us green room. We were essentially like guests, like top, like really top up their guests for them to just run this silly little event, if you think about it, where like a whole bunch of like girls and guys come up on stage and they just perform. Like it sounds so tiny to me, because like that's how it started for me. It started out something very tiny, and then it just blew up into something where I have like multiple people coming from in-state and out of state gather in one place and just like perform their hearts out and really show, like I said, how great idol culture could really be if we give it a chance, of course. Yeah, no, it had to be Akon is when I really realized, like, this how did we get here? How did this happen?
Yeah, and hopefully once things go back to normal and cons start up again, that hopefully you all will be able to resume your activities right where you left off. I know that I don't think it's a reach to say that the community as a whole is starved to go back, and I've heard a couple people be worried that, like, when cons come back, they're gonna be super small because people will have like forgotten about cons, or just like the lack of consistency will have broken people's habits and whatnot. And I'm standing here, and I very much have the opposite opinion. I think we are going to see a second convention boom in 2022 and 23, because I do not think people will have forgotten cons. I think people are now starved for them, that they've been waiting for what will end up being about 2 years, and that I know a lot of cons got hit really hard by these past 2 years, that depending on how they operated from a financial standpoint, a lot of cons unfortunately have had to fold. But I think that you're going to see the bigger ones are going to come back with a vengeance, and there's going to be just new ones sprouting up all over the place. Wherever there was one that went under, might be under new management, and might be fans of the con who are like, well, if those people aren't going to run it anymore, then we'll have to run it ourselves. I think there will be plenty of opportunities, and I'm very much looking forward to just, going to a con again. Gosh, I miss it.
I know, like, even though, like, cons used, because, like, at one point in my life, cons actually did become, like, a really stressful thing for me, where it's just like, oh, man, like, the GTA mean, oh, shit, here we go again. That's essentially what it became for me, like, every other month. And it became really stressful, and, like, I slacked off in a lot of things in my life, and I did have to take a step back from, like, doing cons at one point. And then, of course, Rona happened, and then it's just like, oh, well, I guess I have a lot of time to myself now, and then that's when I got into VTubing. But I really do, like, looking at it now, I really do miss cons. I kind of do miss the organizational aspect, even though, like, I stepped down from my position from doing idol stuff to, like, focus more on myself, and more for mental health and everything like that. And
it's going to be interesting to see how VTubing fits into this.
I love having this conversation.
Okay. Oh boy. Let's do this. Okay. So you go first. Like, what are your ideas? What are your theories? What are your thoughts?
I 100% believe that VTubing is becoming an essential part of the con scene. Now, hear me out. Hear me the fuck out, because we're essentially the new age celebrity. We're the new age, like, because I know even voice actors. I've seen some voice actors who are now VTubers. And the beautiful thing about being a VTuber is you could do everything from home.
Exactly.
Like, yes, exactly. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, so especially because you're the ideal guest. Not only just a con doesn't need to worry about your airfare. They don't need to worry about your hotel. From a cost perspective alone, you are going to be inherently more economical for them. And even if they make the appearance fee like half of what they would have had to spend for costs of, travel and board, that would probably still be more than appearance fees were beforehand for a normal in-person guest. So I think that depending on how things go, that it is not unrealistic for cons and VTubers to end up with a everybody wins scenario. And that's just like the cost.
Especially with like how Rona's still gonna be part of our lives for like the next 5 or 10 years. I'm gonna be real with you. Because this shit doesn't just go away like in a year or 2 years or like overnight. it's going to be part of our lives for a very long time. And everyone's going to still have that fear of like being in like very close spaces, wearing masks, and making sure there's a little people, but still maximizing everything as much as possible. Like,
It's going to be a delicate balance.
It has to be a delicate balance. So I think VTubers are really, really going to be part of the con reboom when it happens, when everyone is able to come, because like now they're not going to have to worry about, you know, guests potentially getting sick or, you know, being held liable for different things when it comes to like safety and you know, stuff like that. So, and even then, like, the only thing I really do worry about when cons do start booting up again and different VTubers start getting reached out to do cons, because I know there's so many big VTubers that cons probably already have their eyes on. The only thing I'm afraid of is, you know, these VTubers are not going to understand the con scene, how it functions, what it's like to actually be considered a guest, and like doing things like contracts and negotiation. Like, it is a whole different ball field than just, you know, doing a sponsorship like on a Twitch stream or something like that, you know. And that's really the only thing I'm really afraid about.
It's gonna be interesting.
More than like, it's gonna be interesting because like I already see horror stories happening. Well, I mean, I haven't seen them, but I already predict horror stories happening. Like, you know, different VTubing talent probably getting taken advantage of by the small unknown con because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, or they got, you know, getting low bailed or something like that. It's a very scary situation. So like, if I just hope that, you know, that doesn't happen, but it's also inevitable too because it's already happened with so many real life guests.
That
it's just bound to happen.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see sort of what form it takes. So is it that, all right, when the VTubers guest that, for example, it's you, Nyaru, so that you do a private stream that only the convention has like the link for, and that way they can put it on a projector in their panel room, and that they're connected to you via Discord or something, and that way you can do Q&A, and that you can do a performance or something like that. And I guess you could do autograph sessions because virtual autograph sessions are already very much a thing. So I guess you do that, and that way you just don't have to travel. Or maybe it's possible for certain VTubers to go incognito, that like you'll do the events from your hotel room, and then you're able to like have a badge and sort of just go around and enjoy the con when you're not doing your programming. But that's going to be something that wildly varies from VTuber to VTuber, of just whose identity is known. And obviously, like, in that case, you can't give them a guest badge, because if they're a guest and, like, somebody asks, oh, so, like, when's your guest, when's your panel? And you say, I can't tell you, then you're going to dox yourself. So you would have to have a civilian... I guess that's the best term here. You would have to have a civilian badge, just a normal attendee badge. But at the same time, that's not exactly that's not the type of treatment that a guest wants. And then you would have to have a certain number of people would then inevitably know the identity, and then I suppose leaks become a problem. So I guess now, as I'm saying it more out loud, I guess that's probably not going to be viable for a VTuber whose identity is not already known. Because I know certain people, like, for example, Phoebe, that she has used her own, like, face on her website. She has been totally public from the get-go. She could do that type of thing. She could go as a guest and get the full guest experience. But for someone like you, or, like, you know, any of the Whole Live girls, or just anyone who doesn't have their public persona known, that the only option is to do virtually. But the fact that that is still an option, I think, is really cool, and it's going to be interesting to see how it gets implemented. And I think, fortunately, because of how big VTubing has gotten during the pandemic, that VTubers are not going to encounter the problems that the idol scene did back in the day. Much the opposite, I think.
Yeah, all this is getting me so thinking, you know?
Yeah, and just like, who knows? Like, you could do maybe a virtual VTuber idol festival.
Oh, well, actually, funny story about that. I'm not technically running it, but I do know of a couple that are happening, and Phoebe is actually, I guess like, on the committee for one. It's called Vtuber Fest, and then
I'm not surprised in the least.
I know, surprisingly, like I really would love to what do you call it? You know, be part of something like that. But it's just like I've been also wanting to like take time for myself, develop myself too, because like I never really given myself that opportunity ever since I started doing events. So it's nice to focus on myself, but at the same time, I can't say for sure that wink wink SHIRAYURI Productions may have something in the works.
Oh my.
with a very reputable Ani-song DJ group.
Oh my.
Wink,
I saw
wink, wink,
I saw
wink.
Entropy in the chat. I hope it's all right that you teased that.
It's fine because it's gonna happen in a couple months anyway, so
Well, definitely something to look out for. And any other burning thoughts on cons and idols and VTubers and how all that's gonna fit together? I'm a total event nerd. I could talk about that forever.
All I ask that all VTubers, if you do get reached out by a con and you are not sure if this deal is right or wrong for you, my DMs are always open for you. If you need advice about cons, if you need advice about like anything, like reach out to someone, have someone look over a contract. Please, just be careful.
Don't feel awkward. Don't be shy and think, oh, I don't want to approach someone because I don't want to seem like I'm bragging because I've been approached. Like, if someone's your friend, they're going to be super happy for you, and they're not going to want you to be taken advantage of. So, like, don't be shy about that. Don't be secretive about it. And if a convention tells you that you can't consult with anyone, they're probably not a group you want to be with. Then, obviously, a con's going to say, do not announce that you are performing or affiliated with us until we have a contract signed, because that's very standard business practice. That just for liability and legal reasons, you cannot say, I am going to be at or I am working with convention XYZ. You can't say that until you have a contract signed. But it is totally within limits and practicality to, you know, talk to a trusted person and say, I've been approached by this group and I am considering, you know, entering an agreement with them. These are the things that they've offered and whatnot, and what do you think about it? That as long as don't tweet out, hey, Con XYZ invited me. What do y'all think of the terms? Don't do that, but talk to a couple trusted people and get things, you know, just double checked.
Definitely.
I want cons around again because it's the type of thing that just I'm working cons and I hope to see it happen. And like you said, inevitably, whenever you have a large population of people, there's always bound to be a couple of assholes among them. Just it is a statistical inevitability. But I am generally an optimist in that I think that most people who do con work do it because they love it and because they love the community. And even if it's because they think it's a good business opportunity, they still want it to be successful because that means good business. That very few people enter into this type of thing with actual bad intentions. And I'm hopeful and optimistic that there will be a lot of really cool things that come out of this. And like I hope to, you know, maybe be part of some of those things and just see a lot of things. And gosh, I want cons back. Go get your vaccines, people, as soon as you're eligible. Look up your local regulations, sign up for things, like get on emailing lists to see if there's any, you know, some places will do that if you show up near the end of the day, that if they have any extra vaccines that are gonna expire, that anyone can get it. Check things out. Get your vaccines whenever you can, people.
Please please, so I could go out, because I have to rely on herd immunity.
Yeah.
And I really rely on every single one of you to get your vaccine. Thank you.
Do it for Nyaru.
Please, please. I just want to go to Japan, please. Like, I feel sad because one of my favorite idol groups is actually disbanding because of the coronavirus,
Oh, no.
and their graduation ceremony is gonna happen in June. And when I heard about this last year, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make any effort I can to go see them, because they're one of my favorite like indie idol groups. They're called Destiny Rabbits, and now that is because like it was so optimistic looking in the beginning of the year, like everything was going good, Japan was gonna open up their borders like that month, and then it just all went downhill.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. They're back in state of emergency, and they still haven't gotten out of it, but it's fine. I'm just gonna watch their live stream, because at least they have one for foreign viewers. Thank you,
Yes.
Desert Rabbits, for thinking of us.
Well, I guess on your own side for future things, I know that you are looking to do some music projects in the future. You already do concerts fairly often. From what you mentioned earlier, it sounds like there might be another concert happening this upcoming week, but you have yet to release a single or do a music video, but that's something that is very much on your to-do list.
I actually have one of my my plan is to release like a small little EP. I already have one song basically completed. I it's just like a very like minor track though. And I also have one that's also currently in the making with the same producer that Yoda is working with. She actually performed one of her original songs today. Shout out to
that
her.
was the finale in the concert.
Well, I'm working with the same person who actually worked on that track with her as well. And then for my main song that I really want to be part of this EP, it's gonna be like 3 songs. I don't know. I'm really trying to pick out like the best person that can possibly make this, because I think music takes a lot of time, takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of love and dedication. I just don't want to like rush something and then I'm not going to be satisfied with it, or like someone who watches it's not going to be satisfied with it. I really want the music that I make to really show all the love and effort that I put into it, even if it takes a very, very long time to make. But yes, music is something I am getting into. Like I said, I have one basically already done. I just gotta like record it and practice it a little bit. But like that's like a minor track, like I said. And the main track is like something I really want to focus on. But I really hope y'all look forward to that, though. I've been trying to plan out original music ever since last year. It's just really I'm picky with.
Hey, if you're gonna do something, do it right.
Exactly, that's my mentality. So if I want to do something right, I gotta do it. I want to do it right the first time. I don't want to do it right the second or third time. You know?
Yeah.
I want to get this right first and put all my love and effort into it. So yeah, please do look out for original music. Hopefully, I want to say at least by the end of the year.
I know I will be looking forward to that for sure. So, as we start to wind things down, I have a couple questions that I'd like to ask all my guests. For starters, Nyaru, what is your favorite meal? So it can be you're treating yourself, doesn't matter what the cost is. It could be just, a comfort food. It could be something from a particular restaurant, something store-bought, something homemade. When you want to just have something that makes you happy, what is the meal that you go for?
Gyukatsu. I love gyukatsu.
Ooh, beef bowl. For those of you who... No, wait, sorry. Because that would be... Katsu is fried, so it would be fried beef.
Yeah, fried beef. So there's that. So whenever I go to Japan, the one meal I eat when I get there and right before I leave is called gyukatsu. Gyukatsu is basically like just like katsu or katsudon, like the fried pork or like beef. But the cool thing about this is that you finish cooking it. So they give you like the plate of gyukatsu with like a little bit of like lettuce, some rice, some little dips, any little like vegetable sides, like
kind of like Korean barbecue or something similar, where you have the grill on the table or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But they give you like a little mini stone grill for yourself and like whoever you go with, and they light it up, and then basically you cook like the gyukatsu slice by slice, and then you cook it to how you like it, and you just eat it with like the little dips and everything. It's so nice.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
It's my favorite meal to eat. And of course, like you said, I actually do enjoy Korean barbecue too. Korean barbecue is another go-to of mine. That's the one I get more easy access to.
Yeah, that's something that you can find easier here in the States for sure.
Like, I have not found a place anywhere that serves gyukatsu here in the States. If anyone knows of a place, even if it's in California, because I frequent California pretty often for cons. Well, I used to, of course, but if you know of a place, like, please let me know. I'm like literally starving for gyukatsu. And of course I enjoy KBBQ, yakiniku. Really, I love a lot of Japanese food more than anything. Curry, I love curry. I could go for some curry actually.
Yeah.
Like,
oh gosh,
so good.
like I literally, you and I were chatting before we went live, and you were mentioning that you were having dinner, and I sent you a curry emoji.
Yes, I was like, oh, curry sounds nice. That sounds really nice.
So we've got the meal. Do you drink tea, coffee, both, or neither? And if yes, how do you take them?
So I can't have coffee because of my heart medication, but I do consume tea. I just drink it hot or in boba form, depending on how I'm feeling that day.
Very nice.
Especially boba form tea. Like,
Yes.
My go-to boba order is a black milk tea with milk foam and boba with little ice.
Yeah, no, just that's one of the big things. Whenever I go and get boba, I say little ice or just no ice, because it dilutes it, and depending on where you go, some of the places will just fill up like half the glass with ice, and then you have like no liquid, and it's like, no, don't skimp out on the actual drink.
Yeah, exactly. I started recently doing that because I realized, man, I get less if I have ice in it. So I just say little ice because I do like to keep it cold.
What is something that people don't know about you? This can be something very, very small. I'm not looking for you to, upend your lore or dox yourself. But like, what's a small fun fact that for one reason or another has just never come out before?
My pinkies are deformed, I think.
You think?
I only say I think because when I compare them to other people, like they're very. I'm just trying to say I have very.
You have unique pinkies.
I have unique pinkies. I don't think you'll ever be able to handshake me in real life, but you will notice. Compared to like the average person, my pinkies are like half the size of everyone else's pinkies. And the only reason why I found this out because I was a band nerd. I think everyone knows that. At least. Like, I was a band. Hell yeah, Band Nerds United this one time and band camp, But yeah, I used to play clarinet when I was in junior high.
If you have smaller fingers, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what I did, play trombone.
See, I thought about that, but then I was like, my dad was a brass player. I don't want to play brass. I want to be in woodwind because I want to be different than my dad. Because my dad's also he's a principal now, but he used to work in doing like elementary music and high school marching band stuff. So his main instrument was the tuba, of course, brass player. And I was like, I don't want to play brass. My dad plays brass. I want to play woodwind.
Got to have the individuality. I can still respect that.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought process. So I wanted to be a woodwind, and I chose clarinet. And one day when we started like going down to like the lower keys, I realized, oh man, I can't reach that. Dad, I can't reach this. What do I do? Because like my dad used to teach my music class before he moved schools to go down to like more he went to work at elementary school like that next year when I found out that I couldn't reach all the way to the
lower keys.
The lower keys. And we tried so many methods. We tried like doing like a little finger extension.
Yeah, just like to tie a stick or something like with a pad.
But even then, those were not enough. It was just not enough. So eventually, they moved me over to bass clarinet, which is like I guess their thought process was, oh, it's a little bit easier because she'll have the little stand and everything, and then she can reach like more. It doesn't really rely much on your pinkies either way. So to them, they thought I would be fine. No, I wasn't fine at all. In fact, I had just as much trouble. And then the worst thing, well, the only thing the good thing that came out of playing bass clarinet is that I got to meet my best friend in high school, the one that drove me to the con in Houston.
It all comes back together.
Yeah, it all comes back together. So I probably would not have been able to go to that con without meeting him.
There
so,
you
know,
go. There
fine.
you go. Hey, one of my friends in band invited me to go to. So I learned about the first con I went to. The first con I ever went to was one called MagFest, which is Music and Gaming Festival.
Very fun to go to that.
And I learned about that from some friends in a music group, and then it was 2 weeks later that one of my friends, also in band, said, "Hey, do you want to go with us to KatsuCon?" Which was like the next month in the same venue as MagFest. And I was like, I just had the time of my life at conventions, because that was my first convention. I was just like, hell yeah, I want to go to another one. I don't care what it is. And just that KatsuCon literally changed my life in so many ways. Like, there is a high probability that this show doesn't exist. Like, if you go far back enough in the space-time continuum of just, Back to the Future, of if you want to undo a lot of things for me, that particular con that year would be the that focal point, or that critical timeline moment for a lot of things. And it sounds like for you that was getting switched from clarinet to bass clarinet.
Yep. Exactly. And then after that, like, they tried to find like a different instrument for me. They're like, a lot of these are like
percussion, I guess.
You're not, yeah, that's where I was sent to. I was sent to percussion. I played a variety of drums, snare, bass, xylophone, bells, cymbals, whatever, cowbell, wherever the fuck they needed me that week. I picked it up like very, very fast.
Yep, as you do if you're in a band percussion, that you get to learn all the things. And sometimes they're really fun, and sometimes you're spending half a piece waiting to hit the triangle just once.
Exactly.
But then other times you get these really fun, like, xylophone pieces.
Oh, yes. Especially when you went to a solo and solo and ensemble. Oh my fucking god. That's where I peaked at, like, my talents, where I would just, like, show everyone off my xylophone and my bell skills, and I would place first, and I was like, yes.
Now I'm getting a whole nother set of flashbacks here.
and then we went to state twice, I remember, in my time in band. Honestly, it was pretty fun. It was really, really fun going to state twice. I went once and I won a silver medal, and then second year I won a gold medal. And it was really fun.
Yay! Pachi.
Thank you.
So you've said that getting your first original piece out is a goal for you this year. Do you have any other goals for 2021?
Make partner. That's essentially my goal.
I think you're pretty well on your way.
It's been very, very, very slow, and honestly, I'm getting into that really, really bad state of comparing myself, especially with my other peers, because they're like, I've seen, like, within the past couple of weeks, I've seen so many people within my circle also get partner, like, pretty quick too. So
the Twitch partnership system is like dark magic, archaic, not transparent at all. It might take a couple goes, but I definitely think that it feels like an inevitability of just a when, not if. So, just keep pushing. I know that like you have a lot of people supporting you. You had so many fans here tonight. You have had just a lot of people cheering for you, doing really different streams, like doing tours and doing YouTube nights and doing Command and Conquer is not really standard VTuber fare, but you still have these people tuning in and supporting you, and I know that they support you just as much, whether it's that or whether it's concerts. So, keep on going, Nyaru. Like, you're gonna be fine.
Thank you. I mean, I really need all the mental support I really need, because like I said, it's so hard, like, seeing everyone else kind of succeed, and it's just like, oh man, I think I'm getting left behind and like kind of getting forgotten about. So I really hope, I don't think that's the case. It's just like, those bad thoughts do kind of go through,
and that's natural. Like, don't feel bad for having those thoughts, but when they pop up, you got to swat them down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not able to do it yourself, talk to Yoro or me or one of your other friends, and we'll do it for you.
Oh, thank you. I really wanted. The thing is, like, I am very, I guess, like, prideful as well. It's just like, I really want to do this, like, because I feel like it's more genuine if you do it by yourself. I don't know. That's just me. That's personally me. Like, if anyone else gets help, I'm like, hell yeah, good. You deserve it. You deserve all the help. But when it comes to me, I'm like, oh no, I should probably do this by myself so I can look a little more valid.
Like, I can definitely sympathize with that mentality for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, get over it, Nyaru. People want to help you, and let them help you.
Okay. I'll try my best.
I'm sure you will. And like I said, you have a lot of fans, a lot of friends. I don't think it will be too much longer. And even if it feels like it's a long time, just remember from the past, your time means nothing anymore anyways.
That's true. That is so true, yes.
So, Nyaru, what does being a VTuber mean to you?
It means being myself, if I'm gonna be real with you. Like I said, I'm very hard on myself, and I used to restrict myself a lot because, for the sake of, like, other people. I was very much I'm still a lot of a people pleaser, I'm gonna be real with you, but definitely not as much as I used to be. I don't know, it's just, I feel like with VTubing, I'm allowed to be myself, at least, and no one can see, like, no one can connect me to, like, a face and judge me because of how I look as a person. I mean, of course, people see me as, like, an avatar, an anime avatar, but people also now focus on the person, who is actually behind that person, the personality,
mm-hmm.
What they like or what they dislike, or what their voice is like, because, like, I don't know. I think just being a VTuber means just being myself and being that it's okay to be yourself. And I don't know, that's just one thing I'm really
That's
enjoyed.
fantastic, and I'm glad that you have found a place and a venue where you can be yourself, and you're definitely not alone in that. That is an answer that is very similar to one that I've gotten from several other guests, and that's part of why I think the VTuber community is so special, is that we all have the understanding of reality that the avatar we see is not the person, but there is just this silent, known respect for the person behind the avatar, which in some ways, almost ironically, I feel like the VTuber community respects the streamer more in the VTuber community on average than in the conventional streamer community, where their actual face is being shown. That, if you see someone tweet saying, stream's canceled today, everyone, just, I'm exhausted, I need to take a day off, that all the responses are going to be like, oh no, take care of yourself, rest up, and just everyone's super supportive and has that healthy respect and understanding that there is a person behind the avatar, and I know that there's a definite value and a lot of safety in being able to be behind the avatar, and I think that's great as well, because it has allowed a lot of people the comfort and security to do something like this, where they might not be able to, for one of any number of reasons, without it, and it's just enabled a whole new wave of content creators and given rise to the community that we know and love. So I think it's really cool, and I'm very, very glad that you are a part of it.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here because I've had a lot of negative experiences like in the idol community. Not a lot of course, everyone thinks like idols are very sweet people, but there is a lot of like, I don't want to say like bad people, but like, you know, not a lot of mature people in there, and then they tend to like, you know, act out and be very like toxic towards other people.
Yeah, and like I said, you're always gonna get some amount of that. That just the larger the group of people, the more inevitable it is that one or two are gonna be assholes. And I know full well that it only takes one or two assholes to really ruin things and make you sometimes forget about all those other people that only have the best intentions. But you need to fight through that and just, you know, talk to your friends, look to the people who support you, and it is a learned skill for sure to be able to fight back against just the haters and the people that try to bring you down. It is not an easy thing by any means, but it's something that you can learn, and I think that I'm sure that you've already learned that firsthand many times, and that just little by little it gets easier, and it sucks that it happens, and it will always suck, but I certainly don't think that you would give up all of this just for those few people that give you grief.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I've learned to mature past that. I know there are some people out there who are, you know, still stuck in their ways, and I still see them like pass by on social media every now and then. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were. It's just kind of sad when you see people stuck like and still in that place, and then like, you know, I don't know. I'm just really glad I'm just out of that kind of situation now, and I'm blossoming more than ever than I thought it would ever, honestly, ever at all, period.
And I think you're just gonna continue to blossom. So before we get going, do you have any projects or collabs that you want to spotlight? I'm sure you'll be posting next week's schedule on your Twitter pretty soon, but anything particular that you want to shout out right now?
Not that I can currently think of.
I do know that you had an ASMR that was rescheduled that was supposed to be today.
It was supposed to be okay. Yes, I do have that then. So I recently did a charity stream. I raised $2,600 for American Heart Association. Shout out to everyone who came to that. Freaking love y'all. But I also did collabs during that. And one collab was I challenged one of my friends who's been challenging everyone in our friend group recently. And he's been like an anime protagonist. Shout out to Carmine. You know who you are. But
I think they followed earlier on. I remember seeing. No, wait, that might have been someone else. I'm not sure. Anyways, Carmine. Yay, Carmine.
Yes, so me and two other people that challenged him, Shimada Tiger and Velik, we challenged him to a 3-on-1 100% orange juice battle on that specific charity stream. And 100% orange juice is very luck based, but he somehow still won against all of us ganging up on him. So he's been a really like big anime protagonist, and he has like a good like winning streak within our friend group, and I'm just like, how is this happening? And we're the only reason why we're doing this within our friend group because he doesn't want to play Phasmophobia, and we've been asking him to do like a Phasmophobia collab, and he does not like horror games. He hates them. He thinks they are the worst thing ever. So we've all been trying to beat him. We've all been trying to like gang up and beat him so we can all do a Phasmophobia collab, but I lost. And I told him he can pick any punishment for me. And his punishment that he picked for me was a made ASMR punishment stream. And I was like, okay, fine. So I scheduled it for, it was supposed to be today, but I'm planning a little bit more for it. So definitely tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. PST if you want to.
And that's going to be on YouTube. You're not actually doing it on your Twitch channel.
No, I am not doing it on Twitch. I'm actually doing it on YouTube because I've been getting a little bit into YouTube recently, just to experiment around because I've always wanted to experiment with the platform, and I guess like partner push for streams that like I don't want it to affect my average. It's definitely a good opportunity to like try it out YouTube.
Very nice. Well, I wish you the best of luck on that, and I just cannot thank you enough for being on the show tonight. This has been so much fun. I'm so glad that you were able to take time out of your busy partner push schedule to join me this evening. This has just been fantastic.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. Like I said this before, interviews are so fun for me because I get to think on my toes and I get to talk because I don't really give myself the opportunity to talk with I guess in public spaces besides my own stream. So I really do appreciate the opportunity for, giving me a chance to speak about myself because like I said, I don't do that often. This is really the only kind of places I get to do that.
Well, the pleasure was all mine. So, to those of you who tuned in tonight, thank you so much. Please, if you enjoyed the show, give me a follow here on Twitch and Twitter. Give Nyaru a follow if you aren't following her already. Thank you all so much. I look forward to bringing you more fun interviews. And until next time, have a great night, everybody.
Good night. Oyasumi.